They made all this money. All this money flowed into Bitcoin. The price went up, 140%. And what are they going to do? They're going to rotate into like Kellogg's? No, they're going to rotate into Circle and ETH and treasury companies, and now ETH treasury companies, and now Solana treasury companies. Joe McCann's out there raising a Solana, treasury company.
It's going to be. Had to be. I got to get Joe on.
It's going to go all the way, right? It's alt season in TradFi for sure. If you're bullish about crypto generically, why would you think this trend stops? If I think Bitcoin is going to $200,000, do I think this treasury trend increases or decreases? It's almost like a self-reinforcing loop until it gets overblown, and I don't think we're there yet.
We are on the brink of a historic moment for cryptocurrency markets, according to Matt Hougan's audacious opening statement. He believes that there is an unparalleled level of demand for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Furthermore, you don't need sophisticated financial models to comprehend why prices rise when demand soars and supply remains constrained. Ethereum has been experiencing a severe supply squeeze since mid-May as a result of ETFs and institutional investors acquiring the cryptocurrency at a rate that far outpaces fresh supply. As Hougan notes, this isn't about arguing over stories like whether Ethereum is a new currency or digital oil. There is currently a massive supply-demand imbalance that could cause prices to rise significantly. If you're intrigued by bold predictions and deep financial insights, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more engaging content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the video.
It's a little scary, but I do have a high degree of confidence we're going there. There is this supply-demand shock in both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I didn't study that much economics, but I know enough that when demand is 5 to 10x supply, the price tends to go up. And I think that's just the story in crypto right now. I mean, look, you've seen Ethereum price targets take off. It was hard to find someone who's bullish on Ethereum a few weeks ago. Yes, you were. Credit. Yeah. I was. Yes.
Consistent. Taking the pay. Even Yago, Yeah.
Yago, there you go. So the few, the proud. But we saw Arthur Hayes come out with $10,000 by the end of the year earlier this week. There is a demand shock. I mean, I wrote about this on Twitter. Since May 15th, companies and ETFs have bought 32x the new supply of Ethereum. We love to tie ourselves in knots. Is Ethereum driven by discounted cash flow? Is it a store of value? None of that matters if these two forces are buying 32 times the supply. So I think it's as simple as that. I think it's going to continue. We've done 4.4 billion in inflows into ETH ETFs this month. There's my Ethereum demand shock.
Just want people to see it there. Yeah.
Again, people overcomplicate these things. You can tie yourselves in knot. There's the chart. Yes. Look at what happened to Ethereum ETF flows. They were basically nowhere until May 15th. And now it's just a building crescendo. We've done every day but one has been inflows this month. The one day, July 2nd, we had $1.9 million flow out, effectively nothing.
Yeah.
Right? We've done $1 billion in the last 3 days. This is accelerating. And I hear it in my meetings. Everyone wants to talk about stablecoins. Everyone wants to talk about tokenization. And that leads them to wanting some Ethereum alongside their Bitcoin. So this is going to ramp to the end of the year. I'm really bullish on ETH. Yeah, I really agree with that, Yago. Scott, you've been talking about alt season in TradFi for a while. And I think that's exactly right. People made a ton of money on these Bitcoin ETFs, right? 36.
And Circle.
Well, Circle was the first alt season, but I agree. It goes from there. They made all this money. All this money flowed into Bitcoin. The price went up, 140%. And what are they going to do? They're going to rotate into like Kellogg's? No, they're going to rotate into Circle and ETH and treasury companies, and now ETH treasury companies, and now Solana treasury companies. Joe McCann's out there raising a Solana, treasury company.
It's going to be. Had to be. I got to get Joe on.
It's going to go all the way, right? It's alt season in TradFi for sure. Of course, these treasury companies are going to do well. They're going to trade to multiples of NAV. That's what's going on in the market right now, and I don't think we've reached the end of that. So we're going to see this continue. I think it's going to be even stronger in the fall, and this story is not over yet. And I know that's counter to the media narrative, which feels like we're peak bubble. We're, March 2000 in the internet, but we're not. We're 1998. Like, people are still just getting excited. The amount of flow that comes through my inbox is incredible. And if you're bullish about crypto generically, why would you think this trend stops? If I think Bitcoin is going to $200,000, do I think this treasury trend increases or decreases? It's almost like a self-reinforcing loop until it gets overblown, and I don't think we're there yet. And it's a long duration asset. It's a great retirement asset because it has huge upside and it has long time frames, right? Why wouldn't you add it at some level? I think the thing for people to think about what this means for the market, there are two things it means. One, obviously, is number go up because it's $8 trillion or something starting to gain exposure to Bitcoin. But the other is vol go down, because the thing about these retirement accounts is, like, I invest, I don't know, in the S&P 500 in my 401k without thinking about it every 2 weeks. I don't even really.
You don't need. I mean, it's an automated system. It's effectively a government mandated DCA.
Yeah. That is exactly right. And so you're going to have
nobody manages these things. They said it once and they forget about it.
Exactly.
Forget it. And there's going to be like 2.5% Bitcoin. And then every week or every 2 weeks, 20 million Americans are going to invest 2.5% of their wealth into Bitcoin. And that's going to crush the vol, just like we've seen in the equity market. We've crushed the vol. We've crushed pullbacks. Part of that is this retirement effect. And that's now coming to crypto. And it's really going to change the shape of the asset.
Hougan discusses how to generate yield on holdings, which is one of the main issues facing major Bitcoin investors. Owning Bitcoin ETFs alone is insufficient for a lot of institutions and wealthy people. Bitwise's separately managed accounts can help with that. These are completely personalized investment plans made to achieve particular objectives. For instance, Bitwise can create a customized solution using an option strategy, a structured product, or another method to achieve a 5% yearly yield if you have $50 million in Bitcoin. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for future Bitcoin, macroeconomic, and digital asset content before we go any further. Now, let's get into his powerful predictions.
And I think both are probably right. Right? For me to bring the TradFi audience into crypto more and more, we need these rules, right? We've seen that with the Bitcoin ETF, right? Just look at the flows. It definitely helped. But that doesn't mean that what we're building on the actually decentralized side, that's the end game, right? Like we're the interstitial. I recognize that as an asset manager, right? There's an irony to building a Bitcoin ETF. And there is a time delimited nature to which I think that should be valuable. I think it's probably a few decades, right? Plenty of time for me to build a valuable business, but eventually that's not the solution. Eventually the solution is direct, it's self-sovereign, it's decentralized, right? I'm aware that this is a bridge, valuable bridge, great bridge, but eventually we'll get to the other side. I have a ton of Bitcoin. How do I generate yield and income with it? That's the most common request. We talk about altcoins all the time. We talk about Pengu filings, but Bitcoin's the biggest chunk of the economy, and there are a lot of people who have a lot of wealth in that space, and they want to do stuff with it. So we do it in SMAs, which are like a customized TradFi wrapper, and some people are comfortable with that, and then some people want to go direct and are more comfortable direct. But it is a huge and growing market.
What does that look like as an SMA? Like you create basically a product or a strategy, and they can buy into that specific strategy that you have like blended an ETH ETF and a Bitcoin ETF. Is that what it is? It's like that's 80% Bitcoin, 20% ETH, and you create that product and they buy directly into that instead of having to do the individual steps.
Or you come to me and you say, I have $50 million in Bitcoin. I want to generate a 5% yield. And we bring in your Bitcoin and do option overlays or those sorts of strategies. It's bespoke service. The ETF is a generic wrapper. It's a beautiful wrapper. You can buy the same product as the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund. That's such a gift to the world. But for people with large positions, asset managers will develop customized strategies one-on-one for them. Yeah, it was the greatest 42 seconds of my life, Scott. We've been working to create this ETF since 2017, and it won approval at the staff level of the SEC. And then there is this weird thing in the SEC where a single commissioner can effectively pocket veto a staff decision. They can just raise their hand and say, we're going to consider this further at the commissioner level, at the 5-person commissioner level. And there's no process that I'm aware of. And, I've been ETFs for 15 years before Bitwise to force them to make a decision. So it just goes into this neverland. Now I'm hopeful that we'll get out of this neverland by the end of the year. I'm hopeful. I know. Oh, look, I've been worn down over the years, Scott. I'm used to it. I'm hopeful that what the rationale is, the SEC is working on what's called generic listing standards, which would mean you don't just launch one crypto ETP. You can launch it as on any asset as long as it fits a series of characteristics. I'm hopeful that they're waiting to get those generic listing standards to allow our index to list. But the crazy thing about it is we just don't know. It's like someone just told you no, and you ask why, and they're like,
that's like the last 4 years.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a flashback. So it's disappointing, but we'll get there. I'm confident.
Do you know which commissioner? Like, do you know who did it?
No, I have two theories. I mean, there's Caroline Crenshaw, who is the.
She's still there.
She's still there, and she's still waving the flag for Gary.
Oh, she got canceled.
And but on the other hand, maybe it's the pro-crypto commissioners who are looking at this generic listing standards.
According to Matt Hougan, one of the most frequent questions he receives from affluent Bitcoin users is straightforward. How can I use my Bitcoin to generate revenue? Many investors are not content to simply hold their money or invest in generic exchange-traded funds, particularly those with sizable holdings. Bitwise's separately managed accounts can help with that. These are completely personalized investment plans created especially to meet the objectives of every customer. For instance, Bitwise may create a customized strategy using tools like options overlays or structured products to help someone with $50 million in Bitcoin reach their goal of a 5% yearly return. Hougan related a personal anecdote of their protracted fight, which began in 2017 to have a particular cryptocurrency ETF approved. They even got to the stage where the SEC's staff had given their approval, but one commissioner essentially blocked it without providing an explanation by using a little-known rule. With no apparent time frame for resolution, this threw the application into what he referred to as neverland. Hougan believes the SEC might be holding off until they complete generic listing standards, which would let a greater variety of cryptocurrency goods to be introduced without requiring special permission. Before proceeding, he attempts to understand their point of view, considering that they might want everything to conform to the new regulations. Nevertheless, he acknowledged that it's annoying to be told no for years without understanding why. Like the rest of the industry, they are still trapped waiting for clearance, but he is still optimistic that they will finally get it. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications if you thought his viewpoint was helpful so you don't miss any updates. We'd love to know what you think about the future of cryptocurrency markets, so please share your ideas in the comments section. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.